Welcome to one of the many circle sessions hosted by Wonder Girls. Wonder Girls is a nationwide classrooms movement. We bring relatable female role models into classroom settings through our circle sessions. As you will see, the crux of these sessions is its dialogic nature. We're currently working with classrooms across 7 Indian cities and continuing to grow. Our aim is for every adolescent in India to have access to relatable female role models. I welcome you once again and hope you enjoy learning from our role models' life journey and career path.
Such a professional dancer and such an accomplished dancer, and I hope you are very excited to listen to her. And let's give a warm welcome to Pooja Didi. Let's give her as many thumbs ups to show how excited we are to meet her. I hope, please, everyone can. Okay, Naina's giving you a heart. Everyone's.
Hi.
All right. So over to Pooja Didi. You can go ahead and start your session.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much, Urvi. I'm really excited for this. All of you are firstly so nice and adorable. I'm so excited when the team got contacted me for this. I was just like, this is something I really want to do. And just like pass on, share all the knowledge I can to like the following generations and like just share everything I can possibly and answer all your questions. So a little bit about me. I am Pooja. Hi. I'm a dancer and choreographer. I started dancing at a very young age, around 5 or 6 years old. I started off with Bharatnatyam, which is an Indian classical dance form. And then I moved on. I started that style when I was in US. And then when I moved to India, I continued with Shamak Davar's dance company for about 8 years. And when I left that company, I went on to do my bachelor's degree in dance and arts management for 3 years in UK. So I did train in like contemporary hip hop, Bharatnatyam. There was a little bit of jazz, ballet, and like hints of other styles as much as I could pick up, like African contemporary, a bit of break dancing. Um, just a mix of everything really. So I worked for a few years as well. As I did my studies, I worked with a few companies in the UK as well, like Akasha Dedra Dance Company. I worked with Absolute Bollywood in London, taught a few classes there. And now I'm back here. I came back in 2019 and I've been freelancing on various projects. I teach online, I teach in studios. I work with a company called the Movement Hub, which just launched actually over the lockdown in India a few months back. And we teach classes online and offline in studios currently. We've just started and we run events. We've started an event called the Elemental Playground, which is basically a platform for dance artists and even other artists we're starting to involve for them to showcase their pieces, their work in progress pieces. Basically, work in progress pieces are pieces that you create and they don't have a completion yet, but you want to showcase them somewhere. So we've started creating this platform for artists to kind of share their work there. We're starting different kind of events out in public spaces as well, slowly and safely, once the pandemic slowly starts to go away, hopefully. But yeah, that's a bit of what I do. I'm not going to go more into detail. There's a lot, but I want you all also to ask questions and yeah.
Perfect. All right. So, okay, kids. Now, whoever has a question can raise their hands. All right. So, I have multiple hands there. Okay. So, let me start with. Okay. Okay. I'm giving you 5 minutes. Raise all your hands, raise all your questions that you have. You can also write on the chat box. Okay. Right now, I'm seeing a couple of hands. Okay. So, Deepika Negi, you can go ahead and ask your first question. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So, Deepika Negi, you can. I can't hear you, Deepika. Are you speaking? Yes, now we can hear you maybe. Deepika.
My name is Deepika.
Hi, Deepika.
I would like to ask that any special song that you love doing dance on that?
I actually love dancing to several songs, but I'll tell you one of my favorite choreographies that I've created is to this song called Love by Kendrick Lamar. I really like that one because it holds a really special place in my heart. I think I made it just when I came back to India, and I taught a class on it, and it was just really nice. Very, very nice, like happy, feel good song. So I think that's one of my favorites.
Amazing.
Okay.
Uh,
And
yeah, Deepika.
Yes.
how do you started your career?
How did I start my career? Good question. So, like I said, I've been dancing since a very young age, but I think career wise, after my 12th standard, I was really confused what to take up. So, I was going to either take up dance full time or I was going to take up global luxury brand management at another college. And very funny story. I'll try to make it as quick as possible, but you might want to hear this. So I had my education counselor who was helping me apply for universities for my dance course. And then I decided to kind of shift my focus onto global luxury brand management. So I applied for a college there as well. I went and sat in the college on the first day, and I just realized that I wasn't happy at all sitting there. The lecture had started, and I was still sitting outside with my parents, and I just realized that I wasn't happy at all. So from Andheri, I've gone back to Vashi to my education counselor, and I asked her again, can we still reapply for these universities for dance? And she was like, it's a little late, but we will try. And that's how it started last minute. Um, like it was literally towards the end. I might have just missed the deadline almost, but I just realized that nothing else made me as happy. And whatever you do, every stream is hard. You do have to really push yourself. You do really have to work hard. It's not like one career field is easier than the other. It's just where your mind lies. It's where your focus lies and what you want to push yourself to do. And if you think that this is the one thing that you want to push yourself to do and focus on, then you should just go ahead headstrong with what you want to do and make it happen, you know? So yeah, that's a little bit.
Okay, Didi, so nice to know something special about you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deepika.
So cute. All right. Thank you for your question, Deepika. I'll be asking Kajal now. Yes, Kajal, you can go ahead and ask Preeti.
Hi, Didi. Good morning, Didi.
Hi, Kajal.
Good morning, Didi.
Good morning.
Didi, my first question is did you teach me Kathak and Bharatnatyam?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly.
Didi,
Yes,
now you
yes,
can hear me?
yes.
Didi, can you teach me Kathak and Bharatnatyam?
Of course, I can. Probably not today. Actually, I haven't learned Kathak. I've only learned Bharatnatyam. I can teach you a few mudras if you want, because there's a very vast vocabulary to Bharatnatyam, and I can't teach it in one day. It'll take years. But I can teach you all a few mudras. Will you learn with me?
Yes, Didi.
Yes? Okay. So just keep your hands out. This is called pataka. So just keep your fingers all together. Now, if you just bend your thumb slightly inwards, not entirely, but just a little. This is called pataka. Yes? Are we all good? Going to the next, if you bend your ring finger, this is called tripataka. Yes? Cool. This is called mushti, hamsasya. Yeah, not bent, but straight. This is straight. Your index finger is straight, yeah? This is Khataka and the basic one. This is called Alapadma. Yeah, so this is like a blooming flower. It's a lotus. Yes? So what all did I teach you? We have Pataka, Tripataka. Yes? We have Mushti, Hamsasya, Khatakamuka. So you join the next finger as well. Yes. And we have Alapadma. So this blooms out like a flower. Yes.
Yes, Dee.
Amazing.
Dee, my next question is, did you learn dance from anybody or you know your dance from childhood?
So I learned under a lot of teachers. When I started, I did Bharatnatyam under 3 different teachers actually. 2 when I was in the US, and then when I moved to India, I learned under another teacher. Her name is Jyoti Mohan. And I also was a part of this company called Arya Dance Academy, who I started off with like very basic dance forms like Bollywood and a little bit of jazz and stuff. Then I went on to Shamak Davar's dance company, who I trained with for quite a few years. Then when I moved on from that, I did my degree in UK. So I learned over there as well for 3 years. So I think, yeah, these are all the teachers I learned under. And now I continue my training, even though I'm working. Like I never stop learning because I believe that you can never stop learning. There's always like a lot of information that you can take in. So even if you ever feel like you have reached a point where you are a professional at something, there is always more to learn. There's always more knowledge you will gain from different people. So I still always enter classes. I take in new information from different teachers. I keep talking to people to learn off of them. So I don't say that I've only learned under one person, because I also like to gain information from a lot of different people. So yes.
Dee, and my third question is, where do you live?
Where do I live? I live in Bombay.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, Dee. And thank you, Dee.
Thank you, Kajal.
All right. So we have a set of questions from Sri Hari. So I hope if he can unmute himself. Or should I just okay, Sri Hari, there he goes. Yes, Sri Hari, we can hear you. Can you ask your question? Okay, I think he's flipping his pages to find the question.
It's okay.
How, in which age you start dancing?
In which year did I start dancing? I think I was 5 or 6 years old. So right now I'm 22. I think it's been maybe 17 years since I've been dancing. Yeah. You're able to hear me,
Your
Srihari?
parents allow you. Yes, ma'am, I am hearing.
Okay.
Your parents allow you for learning dance.
Yes, they did.
Your
Actually,
parents allow you.
yes, they did. So when I was young, actually, my mom only put me in dance class because she saw me moving to a song that played in a grocery shop when I was a baby, and she was like, "Okay, I'm going to put her in a dance class." So that's how I kind of started, and then I properly started learning like when I was like 6 years old, like I said, and they've only been supporting me till then because they saw that it's something that I really want to do, and I'll find a way to do it. You know, like I said, everything's hard to do, but I was just so sure that I'll find a way to do it. And I ensured this like to them also. So yeah, they have been supporting me.
Amazing. So next question is by Kanishka. That did you ever get hurt while dancing?
Yes, I have gotten hurt several times while dancing, Kanishka. Where is she? I can't see her.
I think her videos.
Say hi.
Oh, there
Okay, I
it is.
see her. Hi, Kanishka. So yes, I have gotten hurt several times while dancing. I think it's a part and parcel because it's such a physical activity that there are so many times you have to roll onto the floor, you have to push up with your arms into the floor, you do flips here and there, you do lifts with other partners and everything. So definitely there are bruises and scars from loads of dance practices. But I think one of the times that I injured myself really badly was while doing gymnastics. I almost sprained my back because I tried to do a flip over like a diving board. And yes, never do that, kids. Never do that. always have some support around you, have some teacher around you telling you how to do it, because that's the most important thing with any physical activity. At the end of the day, how much ever you force yourself to learn something, your body is your temple, because that is what you are utilizing to do all of these things in a physical activity. So it's the only equipment you have, it's your temple. So don't take it for granted. And really, if you're not able to do something, don't push yourself beyond the limit. Go through it slowly, take it step by step. That's how it will always happen. Even if you see these dancers doing flips and tricks everywhere, or like gymnasts and everything, they didn't achieve it in one day. There's a technique to it. If you don't follow the technique, you will crack something in your body, you will injure yourself, which will keep you in bed for the rest of your life. So you want to take it slowly, you want to take it step by step. So yes, don't jump over a diving board like me.
Thank you, Didi, for answering.
Thank you, Kanishka.
All right. So next question is by Aman. Aman, can you unmute yourself? Been raising his hand. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Hi, Aman.
The hi Didi. Uh, Didi, when and where you learn this kind of dance?
So I think a lot of my movement has been influenced by all the different teachers that I've learned from. Like I said, I like to pick up information from every person. And right now at this point, the dance form that I teach is it's very experimental. Like I merge hip hop with Bharatnatyam, with contemporary. I add like different elements to it. I give my students different tasks to work with so that they can build their own routines and stuff. So I think a lot of it comes from the various forms that I've learned. It's not just one solo teacher that I look up to, or like one solo teacher that I follow. Because even, for example, when I still enter a class right now, I pick up on the way that different teachers teach as well, different teachers, the way they host their class. And I pick up on these small things, and then it changes the way I teach a class as well, not just the way I dance, which is so important as a professional, for you to know how to hold a class as well. Because at the end of the day, you are also educating people under you, and you should pass on the right information to them. But yeah, I think a lot of different styles and teachers have influenced my movement and the kind of stuff I do now.
Great. So I'm getting a lot of questions as to what is the difference between contemporary jazz and other freestyle forms of dance.
Okay.
So if you could clear that for them and maybe show them a couple of steps would be great.
Yes, of course, of course. I think one more person is raising their hand. I will answer
Oh,
their
many
question.
hands are raising.
Many, many. Yes.
Don't worry.
We will come to each person. Don't worry.
I don't think
Um,
we'll get over.
Yeah.
So,
The
I
next question.
okay, I'm
Okay.
going to answer this one, and then we'll go on to the next one. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll
Next.
teach you guys a few moves as well, if possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so contemporary, I would say, has originated a little from ballet. If you all know what ballet is, it's a very technical dance form. It's the one in where they wear leotards and like tight leggings and stuff. And contemporary is like a sub form of ballet, but it's not as held in technique as ballet. For example, if you have your arms here in ballet, which is a technique, if you have your arms here, if you have your arms here, it's a structure that they teach in ballet. It's a technique, it's a position. This is first, second, there's third, fourth. So I would say ballet is the foundation to a lot of dance forms, and it's really it's really essential to kind of go through that phase to learn that form for you to strengthen your other forms, because it translates into a lot of other styles. For example, ballet really helps you to hold your core. Your core comes from your center and your glutes, all this area in your body. Like it comes from here to this entire area. So it really helps you hold the center of your body when you're doing other forms. It helps you to keep your balance. It helps you to maintain the right posture, which translates into other forms. Like, for example, if I'm doing hip hop, it gives me a lot of core strength then. Even though hip hop is not at all like ballet, or hip hop is not at all like contemporary, these forms create a base to, they create a foundation to translate into other forms that you would want to do as well. So yeah, contemporary kind of comes from that. It's more extensive movement. It has a lot of plies. Plies are basically bending your knees. So if everyone wants to stand up and do this with me, I will teach you some basic.
Yeah. Can everyone please stand up and switch on your cameras? Didi's here just for today and that too for 1 hour. Please, please, please switch on your cameras
Yes,
and
I would love to see everyone.
yeah. All right. So can I see more cameras? Okay, Divya. All right. Okay, you can start.
I don't know if you can see me properly, but I will try. You can
No.
hear me, right?
Yeah, we can perfectly see you.
Okay, amazing. So just a few ballet basics that translate into contemporary as well and jazz. This is how you would stand in first jazz. So jazz has taken a lot of its basics from ballet, but it's just changed the structure so that their stance changes, the way they stand, the posture, the way they transition through movements changes. So they've just changed slight basics from ballet into jazz. So if you keep your feet stuck together, this is first position jazz. Yes? Everyone, thumbs up. Now, from here, I don't know if you can see my feet, but keeping your feet stuck together, if you just turn them out, so your heels are still together. I'll turn my screen down slightly if you can see now. So my feet are stuck together right now. This is first jazz. If you turn your feet out, this is first ballet. Yes? And whilst you do this, I really want you to think about wrapping your glutes in, wrapping your hips in. Yes? So whilst you do this, really think about sucking everything in as you turn out and not just turning out very lightly. Yes? So this is first jazz. This is first ballet. Now we're going to go into second jazz and second ballet. So can everyone step out for me? Now you're going to keep your feet parallel. Parallel as in they're going to point forwards. Yes? This is second jazz. Keeping your feet straight. And if you turn your feet out, it's second ballet. Cool? Let's go back into first jazz again. So we are in first jazz, going into first ballet, going into second jazz, going into second ballet. Now I'm going to play a small tiny game with you all. I'm going to give you a test. Everyone's fine with these 4 positions? Yes? Cool. Now I'm going to call them out really quickly and mix it up for you all. I want you to show me these positions really fast, okay? I'm going to confuse you all a little. So everyone's got it right. This is first jazz, first ballet, second jazz. If you turn out, it's second ballet. Yes? Let's go. 5, 6, 7. Everyone go into second ballet. And first jazz. And first ballet. And second jazz. And first jazz. And second ballet. And first ballet. And first jazz. And second jazz. Second ballet. First ballet. First jazz and shake it out. Nice. Amazing. Did I answer your question?
I think I'm getting thumbs ups and hearts and clapping, so I'll take that as a positive review. All right. So yeah, there are many more questions. Why so okay? I don't know why someone's writing why so serious. Okay. Okay, next question. Let me just check the list. Okay, next question is by Akash. So Akash, can you raise your hand so that I can unmute you? Can't see Akash. Okay, yeah, there he goes. Yep.
Ma'am, that my first question is that in dance, actions and expression are really important for dance.
Um, did you say expressions and what else?
Let me unmute him. Yes, Akash, can you repeat your question once again?
In dance, actions and expression are also important for dance.
Yes, so expressions are really important for dance. Sometimes in some forms, like especially contemporary, in some theater contemporary pieces, you will see that dancers really don't use their face much. But I would say that is also a form of expressing themselves through movement, because you don't always require something happening on your face to express what you're doing through movement, if that makes sense. But in a lot of forms, expressions do really add on. They're a layer that really add on to your movement to show, especially if you're trying to tell a story through your movement. It really shows, like if you're trying to show that you're sad or you're happy, you're angry, you fear something, you love something. So yes, expressions really are a very, very important element to dance for sure.
Amazing. All right. So next question is Naina. So Naina, can you unmute yourself?
Okay. Hello, Pooja Didi.
Hi, Nana.
Didi, welcome to our class.
Thank you so much.
Didi, your first question is from when you have joined this dance journey? I think I have answered it.
Yes.
Nothing makes sense.
So yes, like I said, I started when I was 6, and I chose to take it up as a career after 12th standard. So from then onwards, like I've pretty much been dancing all the time. Like it's the only thing I've properly had my full focus on. I've properly like known for the longest time. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Okay. Your second question is if you would not a dancer, so which other field you would take?
So yeah, like I said earlier, I was going to do global luxury brand management if it weren't dance. After 12th, I was really confused. And I was going to do it with this college called Pearl Academy. And global luxury brand management is where you basically manage like luxury brands. And yeah, that's what I was going to do if it weren't for dance. But then I realized that I didn't want to do that. So I chose to do dance and arts management. So I also like, along with dance, I do a bit of like arts and events management stuff as well, because I like to manage events and manage artists, and create events and platforms for artists to share their work. So I do both side by side.
Okay.
I hope that
Didi,
answers your question.
yeah. Didi, I know that you have a YouTube channel too, and
Yes.
I have saw your all videos. I have not left any video, and I love your dressing and your makeup in the video. In the video, रात के 2:30 it was so amazing, and I saw your
Thank
all
you
videos.
so much. Thank you so much. How sweet. Thank you, Nana.
Before this class, no, I was practicing of your song was Chal Bombay. I was seeing your video and I was dancing that.
How sweet. How sweet. I would love to watch it. I would love to watch it for sure.
Can I get your number too?
I will send it to Urvi, ma'am. She will
Okay.
maybe think about giving it to you.
Yeah,
Maybe.
you can mail it to her. Okay, so you can mail it to me. I'll mail it to her then.
Yeah, for sure. Or you can even contact me on any other platform that you have me on.
Yeah,
But you can mail it to me for sure.
perfect. I will definitely do that.
Thank you, Didi.
Thank you so much, Naina.
All right. Akash has one more question, and I forgot to. I think I muted him. Akash, can you raise your hand? Okay. Yeah. and then I will move on to the next participant. Yes,
Ma'am, my second question is that on a first time, how did you feel on a first time you dance on the stage?
Good question. I think I don't even remember when the first time is that I danced on stage properly. But as far as I remember, I think it's one of the best moments in my dance journey, like from my childhood. I had joined this dance company called Arya Dance Academy when I was in the US, like I said. And I got promoted to an advanced batch quite soon, and we were practicing for um, a competition called Naya Andaz. And I think that is the first time I properly performed on stage in front of Saroj Khan. Like, she was the judge. And think we won third prize, if I'm not wrong, and it was just really exciting. Like, I remember my parents had these clappers in the audience, and they were going like crazy, cheering on, and there was like a huge crowd, and I just remember it like being a really fun experience as a kid. Like, performing on stage is one of the most best experiences for an artist, I believe. For them to be able to connect with an audience, it just gets as raw as possible. You're so close up to the audience, they get to experience how you're feeling on stage as well, especially if it's a small theater, and the artists are performing like right close to you. If it's a small seating theater, small things really make a huge difference compared to online videos, like how the artist is even breathing while dancing, or how they're looking right at you when you're sitting in the audience. These are very raw experiences you get only when you go for stage performances or you perform on stage, which is, it's a whole nother experience altogether. So I think yeah, that's what I remember of my first experience on stage. Urvi, I can't hear you.
sorry, I'm so sorry. I was muted.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, we have Smriti. So, Smriti, you can quickly ask your question.
Good morning.
Hi, Smriti.
Good morning, Didi.
Good morning.
Didi, how are you feeling?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Didi, I'm fine. Didi, my first question is that where you where you where you where you where you learn dance from?
Where I learned dance from? I think I answered this a few times. So I started off Bharatnatyam. I learned under three teachers. One's name was Radha ma'am, and then I went on to Usha Pulajil ma'am, and then I went on to Jyoti ma'am. And I also learned under Shamak Davar. I did my degree in UK for 3 years, so I learned under several teachers there. I also trained under other teachers over there other than only my university. Um, and then I've come back, and when I came back here, I also continued learning under different teachers over here as well. So yeah, I think just a lot, lot of different places I've learned from.
That's amazing. So I think one question I was receiving again and again is that who actually influenced you to dance? So we do know that you were a dancer since child, you danced in grocery stores, and then you had multiple teachers. But what was that influencing factor, that one thing that, made you realize that, oh, I have my passion in dancing?
I think so. Like, role model wise, for the longest time, when I came back to India as a kid, I didn't know much what was the dance scene over here. My mom was also looking out for different teachers, and then we happened to find Shamak's company, and I think the minute I joined, I was like, this is the person who I look up to, and I want to be able to create a change the way he has as a dancer in the country. Because when he started dancing, when he started his company years back, it's probably been about 20 years, more than 20 years with his company.
Yeah.
Dance wasn't a thing back then, and dancing in leotards, dancing in shorts and crop tops and all these things in movies and studios and stuff wasn't a thing back then. And he just decided that this is what I envision for the country. This is what I see uh, is best for the dance industry, and this is what I know that I want to do with dance in this country. And he changed up a lot. Like he went through a lot. He went through a lot of hardships. Like there's a lot I've heard from him personally as well. When he's told us about his journey, and he wasn't accepted for a lot of things when he started off. His parents have a college as well in Bombay, Davars College, and I believe that he was also like told that, like, why don't you join them, and why don't you like run the college and stuff and get more into that side of it, and like get more into education. And he saw education as a different thing altogether. He was like, education is a medium. Whatever you teach people, it could be different things, but at the end of the day, it's not only sitting in a classroom, but also getting into a studio and learning different things. And dance also sorry.
I said it should add value to you in
Yes,
any field.
exactly. And dance, he saw
Didi,
you
I
can
can't.
also understand a lot of different things, not only learning a choreography, but also like being aware of your surroundings, understanding things about your body that you wouldn't have before. So I think looking at his process, looking at what he's built in the country, whilst he did not have as much support back then, dance wasn't a big thing. He must have been even like put down for like, trying to push for people to dance in the kind of attire they did, dance in movies and stuff. And to see how he's pushed through and created this whole scene in the dance industry in India, I think that was a huge influence for me to be this is what I want to do, and this is the kind of change I would like to create. And as and when it's gone by, the industry has just grown from then onwards. Like if you see from years back, it's just truly like grown entirely, and there are a lot of people trying to push for it now. So yes, it's yeah. I hope that answered your question. I went
Yeah,
into a
definitely.
lot of detail.
Actually, I met Shavak sir in when I think he used to teach in Tagore International School also. So I met him there and I took a couple of his classes, but then it fizzled out. But yeah. Um, I think
That's nice. That's nice.
the next question is Harsh and ask question and then Samriddhi can ask. Yeah.
Didi, be a dancer. This is your childhood dream.
I would say it's like I said, it's the only thing that I've known to do for the longest time, and I've been sure about for the longest time. So yeah, I would say yes for sure, because I've been dancing as far as I like, as long back as I can remember. It's like the one thing that I've been doing for the longest time, and I saw myself doing it in the future as well. It's like how eating, sleeping, talking is for everyone. That is like a part of me. It's like I can't do without it. One day I don't dance, it's like, अरे ये क्या हो गया? आज तो करना पड़ेगा. Like I have to do it. I just like I can't stop dancing. It just happens. And if there is a day that I don't focus on it, a day I take off because I'm tired or anything, my body is constantly moving. You play a music, I'm moving. I can't stop myself. So it's like it's become more of a necessity than anything for me. It's something that I can't do without. So yeah.
Great. Samriddhi, you can quickly ask your question.
Hi, Didi.
Hi.
Didi, I have 4 questions if you don't mind.
Yes, go for it.
The first question is, why do you dance?
Why do I dance? So like I said, it's like a necessity for me. I find it to be a medium for me through which I can express myself in ways that words cannot. If like if there are also days where I feel like um everything just seems a little too much, I'm stressed or anything, dance is my escape. It's also what I do career wise, it's also my passion. It's just become everything. So if there's a day where I say, okay, I need to shut off my passion for a while and focus on work, it's again dance. If I say today I will take an off from work and I need to focus on myself and just feel good, it's again dance. So it's been there for me in all aspects of my life. Like it's my escape, but it's also what I indirectly, like, I come back to as well. It's like a whole cycle for me, and it's just like I said, it's just like eating, sleeping, talking. For me, it's become a necessity. It's what I do. It's what I express myself through the most. Yeah. Yes.
And my second question is,
Yes.
who told you to dance or why you thought dance is your art and why do you dance?
Okay. I think the second part of the question I kind of answered. But yeah, I think my mom is the one who put me in a dance class, like kid. And she and my dad, like my entire family, actually, they've supported me like throughout the way. I remember, like, even when I used to go to class as a kid, like they would come and sit outside the class for 5 hours at a stretch and just wait for me to do the class and come out and take me back home. And that's pushed me, like, for them to see that in me, for them to invest so much into what I want to do, has pushed me to continue going forward with it. So that's how I started. Like, my mom also used to dance when she was a kid, but she couldn't complete it and pursue it. And I feel like somewhere she saw that in me, and then she pushed me to go further with it. So yeah.
Perfect. So also, there are some questions that are coming from Akash. So he said, so I think that's what he's trying to say, that as you said that Shabak also got ignored, and there are many people who don't accept this culture as a profession. So did you ever face that in your life? And also, I think the second question is, could you tell us that how exactly do we pursue dance, and what are the steps that we as students right now should take up to become a professional dancer and an overachiever like you? So,
Okay.
just I'm so sorry to cut you, but
No,
I'll
that's okay.
leave in a bit. So if I do cut off, I'm really sorry. And it was amazing and so much fun to meet you.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. It was so nice to meet you as well. And yeah, thank you so much for having me, all of you.
Not at all. Thankful to you to join us and to talk to these children. Anyway, right now they don't get to meet a lot of people, so we
I
can
am I'm very happy to do this often. I'm very happy to even hold a class for all of them. Like, they've been so nice through the whole talk and so patiently listening, raising their hands. I'm like, this is really nice. Like, this is what I want to do, right? Like, I just want to share what I have with as many people as I can. So it's just really nice to even be here. And
I'm
thanks for
definitely
having
gonna
me.
pester you. I'm definitely gonna pester you then a lot with these days.
For sure, for sure. Go
Yeah.
for it.
And I'll be handing this job of facilitation to Khushbu, so she's right here. And taking my leave now. Bye,
Okay.
cousin. Bye. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Urvi. Thank you. Hi, Khushbu.
Hi, Pooja. It's been great to hear you so far. And
So,
I won't take the space a lot. I will let students ask their
thank
questions
you.
because there are a lot of
That's okay. That's
hands.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I
So, yes, I forgot the question that Urvi asked. One was about the steps it takes to
yeah.
become a professional, and the first one was, yes, whether I've kind of been questioned when I took up dance, and people for you to ask as well. You can come to me at any point that you want and ask anything that you need. But yes, I think it's super important to start from scratch. Know that know especially that everything that you want to build will take time. So you need to have patience with it. I see a lot of dancers or a lot of people in any field really giving up very soon nowadays because they don't have the patience, and also the level of technology we've reached at this point. Everyone is used to everything being done very quickly for them. If you don't get something done fast in one place, you know that you can jump to another place and get it done quickly, but it is uh, quality over quantity, you know, and you always want the quality of what you are doing to be better, because the quantity will always follow. The amount of people who will come to you will always follow. The amount of money that will come in through whatever field you choose to do will always follow. But what will not happen is your quality building up if you don't give enough focus to it and enough time and patience to it. And it takes years. It takes a lot of time. I have been dancing for 16-17 years myself, and the learning never stops. The building never stops. There is always space for growth. There is a lot more that I want to change as well personally for myself. There's a lot more for me also to work on to become better. But you just need to have a lot of patience with it. Make sure that the person who is mentoring you knows what they are giving you, which is super important, which is why I said, if someone is feeding you information, always do your personal research. Always make sure what they're teaching you is the right thing. Because I know personally that I have approached a lot of teachers and trained under them for a while, and they haven't passed the right information to me. And thank God this didn't happen to me, but because of their lack of knowledge, they have passed on the wrong information to some students who have ended up injuring themselves very badly and not been able to dance anymore for the rest of their lives. Like, they have torn a ligament, or they have they have like torn their hamstring muscle or something like that, or any other muscle, and they haven't been able to dance for the rest of their life. And these things are more important than anything, more important than learning a dance routine, more important than looking good on stage, looking good on camera. The basics, knowing the basics is super important, because that you will then apply to any other space, and that is what builds, that's what helps you build your audience as well. That's what helps you build your student base. That's what takes you forward, rather than cutting that and trying to achieve fame and success very fast. You've really got to drill yourselves through the basics first to then build up slowly. So yeah, always also building contacts, networking as much as you can, going out and talking to as many people as you can really helps. Because if you have an idea, right, and say I have an idea, and Khushbu is going to give me a job, okay, Khushbu ma'am is going to give me a job, and if I don't go and talk to Khushbu ma'am about my idea, how will she ever know that my idea exists? She will never know, right? She can't read my mind. So always going and approaching people, even if it seems scary to you to approach people, going and approaching them with your ideas is one place where it all starts. So never be scared that an idea you have is too small or it's not good enough. Whatever idea you have is always different from someone else, and they will always learn off of you. They will always want to know more about what you have to offer. So always go out, talk to people, network with people. It always helps. That's where all my work has come in from personally. All my work has also come in from my students, because they have referred me to other people, and those people have contacted me. So it's always nice to go and approach people and just talk to people and build that relation with them. But yeah, I would say these are the very many tiny steps that it would take to kind of reach you to the point where you want to be, not just in dance but in any field really. Yeah. That was very long, but yes, I hope that helped.
Definitely.
Going to Samriddhi, I think she's been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, but Samriddhi had already asked 2 questions, and
Okay.
Ruzan has been in the line of the names who have been waiting.
Yes.
So, Samriddhi, I would request you can type the question in the chat box and I will take it up afterwards. Ruzan, do you want to ask your question now?
Also, Sapna and I think Nishita, both of them have been raising their hands since a while. Is it both of them? I don't know. We'll come to them after.
Mansi wants to say
Yeah.
something.
Also, we have 2 minutes left. We want to close on time. I just want to keep in mind that things go fine, please.
Yeah,
Didi,
yeah,
can
that's
I ask the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Didi, who motivated you for dancing?
Who motivated me? I think the biggest motivation has been my parents, because no matter what, like they just saw it in me that this is something I want to do, and they have stood by my side, like no matter what, even if I didn't see it in myself, even if one day, if any day I was like, I don't know how to make this sustainable, I don't know how to make a career out of it, how will I live off of this, will it give me back enough in return? They have just been there through it all. And even creatively, like it's very funny, but every time like I have a show or anything, they are the ones who are pushing me even creatively to do things, even if their ideas are small. Or like for example, like I told you all about the Elemental Playground, the platform that we're putting up for artists to showcase their work. I have performed in it as well. Like we've had 4 shows till now. I've performed in 3 shows, and 2 out of those 3 shows, my parents have handled the lights at home, they have handled the music, they have handled the props. My mom performed in one of the pieces, which was very cute. So I think just seeing that they also have that belief in me to make something out of this, to make it bigger, is the biggest push that I have received. Other than that, all the teachers I've trained under, just everything that I have learned off of them, and seeing them do it in front of my eyes makes me realize that I can do it too. And that there are so many people out there doing it. So if they can do it, anyone can do it, you know? So yeah, I think it's not just one person particularly who's like pushed me and made me realize that it can happen, but just knowing that it's possible and completely putting that into action. Yeah.
So, in the interest of time, I would just like to raise one question by Sahil that is in the chat box that is relevant for all the students here, is that how did you manage your academics and dancing?
Yes, this question I wanted to answer. We can take it like 10 minutes ahead if you guys are okay with that. I don't mind.
Mansi, is that okay?
We're okay till you're okay. We just don't want to interrupt your schedule.
Yeah, that's fine. We can take it 10 more minutes. That's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how did I manage academics and dance? Well, I think one of the most crucial points where it got like a little hectic for me was when I was in 9th standard, because I was with Shamaks, and until then it was all like easier to manage because my classes used to be in the evenings. School used to finish in the day, and it was like maybe 2 or 3 days a week max. So I was like, okay, this is an extracurricular activity. I'll go do it. I'll like find time to study post that, or like in between that or whatever. But I think a very hectic stage was when I was in 9th, because I had my final show in Bharatnatyam that happened that year, which is called an Arangetram, if any of you have heard it. And it's like kind of the final graduation show after Bharatnatyam. So that was happening that year, for which I was training for 6 months. And then there was a final show that happened. Final show that happened. And meanwhile, I also got pushed up to an advanced batch at Shamak's company, for which there was training happening 5 hours a day, every day of the week. Like no holiday at all. And I was doing Bharatnatyam with ballet that year. So that itself was hectic physically, because they're two very contrasting styles. And to push for both equally with the equal headspace, because even ballet, like I had a final exam that year. So I was training for that as well, studying for that as well, training for Bharatnatyam. I was in ninth, so that was going on. My studies were going on, and I don't know, somehow, because it was something that I wanted to do so much, I just found a way to push myself. Like, there is always a way out of it. I just found a way to push myself. Like, I used to go to school 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'll come home, eat lunch, not even sleep, nap, change, nothing. I would run from one end of Bombay to another end of Bombay. Like, my class, because it was only in one center in Bombay, because it was an advanced batch, it was 1.5 hours away from my house. So every day, my mom used to come with me, take 3 trains across the city, and she used to sit outside the class for 5 hours. I would do class, come out very tired. I would come back home, find some time, 1 hour, 2 hours here and there to study, go off to sleep. Wake up the next morning, do the same thing every single day. And the days that I had Bharatnatyam, I would miss my Shamak's class because I like really pleaded to them to let me do this other thing that I was doing. And then the days I wasn't doing Shamaks, I was doing Bharatnatyam. But and I got good grades in ninth somehow, decent. So at the end of the day, you just find a way to do it. You know, if there's something you want to do, and it's not only back then with studies, but even right now till this date, I personally like to keep myself busy as a person. So every day is packed with something or the other. Like every day, every hour is packed with something or the other. And it's not necessary to be like that at all. It's just personally who I am as a person. But if it's something you want to do, right, you just find a way to make time for it. You find a way to schedule things in accordingly, and you find a way to organize things, and you just fit in time for everything at the end of the day. Yes. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I was on mute. Yeah. Thank you for answering that in detail. I think Sapna has been waiting to be heard for a long time. So yes, Sapna, you can go ahead.
Hi, Didi.
Hi, Sapna.
Didi, good morning, Didi. My first question is that which type of dance you love?
Which type of dance I love? I think for me, it's very hard to choose from all the styles I've learned which style I love the most, because it's come to a point where I merge all the styles to kind of create I wouldn't call it a fusion, but kind of create like an experimental merge of all the styles I like. So some days I feel like I want to do Bharatnatyam more than anything. Some days I feel like I want to groove and I want to do hip hop and do all these party moves. And then some days I just feel like I want to let my body flow and do contemporary. So I feel like I've come to a point where I found a merge between all these styles to kind of just let my body flow. And it's reached a point where it's even my understanding of dance has gone beyond a particular dance style. You know, it's more about movement, it's more about understanding your body, it's being aware of your surroundings, it's more about how my surroundings are influencing the way I move. For example, even small things, you know, it's not, like I said, it's not about the dance style anymore, because everything you do translates into another style. For example, Bharatnatyam is very grounded in its form. And if you translate that into hip hop is also very grounded. Like you're always bending your knees and grooving more and giving more weight into the floor. And these things translate, you know. So for me, it's gone a little beyond a dance style, but more about being how the things in my surroundings influence my movement and how they make my body move. So for example, small tasks that I give in my class are like, actually, if you want, you can do this with me. I'll give you a very small quick task. If everyone can put their cameras on, it'll be really fun to see how you all interpret this movement. Everyone, cameras on. Okay, I will quickly give you a task. Meanwhile, you can put your cameras on. So, can you all just sit still and think? If you want to move away slightly from the screen, you can do that to create space. Now, just think that you're moving through a big jar of honey. Okay, really sit into that thought for a few seconds and think how you would swim through a jar of honey. Now the honey is thick, it's gooey, it has a lot of texture to it, it's very sticky. So if you're swimming through this jar, how would you really push through this bunch of honey? Okay, now I'm going to play some music for you for a few seconds. Just where you're sitting, I want you to take a few seconds, just find a way to move your arms with the texture that you would use as if you were moving through a jar of honey. So if the texture is gooey, if it's slow, if it is how else? If anyone wants to give me how it would feel to move through a jar of honey. Very sticky and slow, right? So I want you to think of this texture and try and just move your arms in that texture, okay? Very slow, very sticky, very gooey. So if sticky means to you, if this is a movement, then means sticky. If you're thinking that there is gum stuck in between your hands, okay, and you're trying to pull away, and if that is what sticky means to you, or if sticky means this to you, like you're really trying to push all this honey away from you, if that is what it means to you, I want you to think about this texture and move in that way. Okay, can you do this for me? I'm going to play some music. Yes. Give me a second. Can you hear it? Give me a second. I'll play it speaker. Give me 1 second. Sit with this thought till then, how honey makes you feel. Moving through a jar of honey, okay? Amazing. You can hear the music? If you want to copy me, you can. If you want to come up with your own movement, you can. Okay, we will do this for like 1 minute. Okay? Just really slow. Try to really create as much tension as you can in your muscles. So you're really thinking about pushing away through this jar of honey. And slowly pause. Nice. So yes, I'm really glad you guys tried this with me. Very interesting to watch. And yeah, so I hope that answers your question. Like I said, for me, dance has gone a little beyond styles, and I really find inspiration from the things around me, the things that we don't think about usually. Yeah. I think Nishita has been waiting to ask a
Yeah.
question for the longest time.
Yes, Nishita, you can go ahead.
Hi, Dee.
Hi.
Dee, my first question is which song you like?
Which song do I like? There are a lot of songs I like. So I think one of my favorites, like I said, is the routine that I taught to. It's called Love by Kendrick Lamar. Um, I think that holds a really special place in my heart. The song that I just played is a song that I really like. It's called Abuze Junction by Coco Roco. I'll type it in the box below. I think it's just like a really calming song, and it just reminds me of like sitting by a beach and like just listening to music and relaxing. Um, so yeah, I think this artist's music I really like. I think these are two songs that I really would not stop listening to ever. Yes.
Okay. Then my second question is why dance is important and why we take classes for do dance.
Okay. I think okay, I'll answer these two as the last question. I hope I've kind of answered everyone else's question in general. And yeah, so why dance is important? Firstly, I think, like I said, it becomes more of a necessity, like how you eat every day, you sleep every day. Dance kind of goes beyond learning a routine. It's more about understanding your body, understanding the surroundings around you, how you can connect to different bodies, especially if you work with other people, even if they're not dancers. There are exercises I give in my class, for example, when we start class. We start by walking around the room, just anywhere. We keep pacing, we keep increasing the speed to a point where you start clashing into people. Now, when you clash into people, instead of just hitting into them and not doing anything about it, I ask my students to change the direction of these people. So if this is two people walking at full speed at each other, instead of just hitting and bouncing off of each other, I ask them to go change directions and walk away, change direction and walk away, change levels and walk away. This way you understand how your body can do different things, how it connects to other people's, how it can give and take weight. You start understanding other bodies around you. I think also dance is very much a necessity because it's all around you. Movement is all around you. Everything around you is dancing. Your ceiling fan is in movement. The birds around you are in movement. Your plants outside your house are in movement. So if you see dance in that way, rather than dance just being something that you learn and a bunch of steps that you put together, I think it has a much more wider and larger meaning. And you see movement and dance in everything then. And I think it's very much a necessity because you start understanding your body in very different ways, ways you wouldn't think in as well. Like there's so much that dance has taught me. It's connected me to so many people. I think it's uh, it's created a way for me to express what I can through movement when I feel like I can't through words, and that's given me more confidence then to express it in words as well. So yeah, I think there are so many different reasons why dance is so important. It's a skill that is super useful and essential to have in general. And I forgot your second question, sorry.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
I think you had one more question, right, Nishita?
No, I have two questions only.
Okay, I hope I answered both. Okay, I think should I-
Yeah. Uh, I think a lot of kids are still raising their hands. Do you want to take more questions or should we wrap it?
I think I will have to end it. But what I can do is, if they send their questions to me, I can send you all the answers and you can forward it to them for sure.
Definitely. Some of them are asking you if you can want to teach them a Bollywood dance. And yeah.
I think next time for sure I'm down to hold a class for all of them. They've been so nice. All of you kids have been so nice today. I had so much fun sharing everything, and I would sit for 1 more hour and continue talking, but I have to go. But like really, I'm really interested in doing this, and I'm really down to teach a class for all of them because they want to learn. Like, they've been so nice, and it's just been a really nice experience. Like, it's a nice way to start my day, so I'm really glad you guys had me on this. And yeah, thank you all of you so much. Yes.
We will definitely connect with you to schedule that class because I think a lot of students in both the classes 6 and 7, they love dancing. We have many talent shows, like even virtual. We had talent shows and they were all dancing in that with their respective dance forms, and we are a lot of dancers, budding dancers. So thank you for this. I am sure they must be leaving very inspired. I would love all students to write any last comments on the chat box just to save time. Use the chat box. And I think Mansi wants to say something. Yes, Mansi.
Yes, thank you so much, Pooja. You've been really kind through the whole session. You also stayed on 20 minutes longer. So like, you know, it's just been great. And like, I picked up so much while listening to you. And like, your story is very, very, very inspiring. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Like, I couldn't be more grateful. This has been a really nice experience.
So glad. Khushbu, do you think we can close it? Because Pooja wanted to close it on 10. We shouldn't be exceeding it.
Yes. Thank you so much, Pooja, for extending this also and just
That's completely
being
fine.
so cool about the technical glitches and everything. Thank you
That's
so much.
okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, kids, all of you. Bye. And I hope to see you all soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Again, I can end the meeting. Kids, you can send the questions जो तुम्हारे रह गए on the chat box and I will forward it to Pooja Didi. Don't worry.
I'll answer all of them.
And yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, Pooja Didi has left, kids, I think. Huh. So how was it for you, Jojo bhi baithe hai bachche? How was it? I will give you permission to unmute. You can also leave. I think Hindi classes ho rahi hai abhi. Yes, anything.
I leave. My phone battery is low.
Yes, Kanishka. Bye-bye.
Bye, Didi.
Charge your phone.
Bye, Didi. Bye, Didi.
Ask to you,
Yes, Kajal.
which princess love to read?
Which princess love to read? Bella from Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, Dee, you are right.
I love books. You can ask me any questions about books. Okay.
Dee, I have
Yes, Ashwini.
Ma'am, can you see my Zoom profile photo?
Yes. What is it? It is a Lego picture, but kiski photo hai?
Ma'am, it is a man photo named Steve.
Steve. Okay.
Dee, next princess who is also known as Belarus.
What, Kajal?
Dee, which princess known as Belarus?
Which princess is known as Bella Rose? That I don't know.
Didi, it was fun.
Okay, Samriddhi, Divya, thank you for staying back from your class. I hope you had fun. You can attend your Hindi class if you want to go, if it's still happening. Otherwise, we will do this more often. We will have more role models coming to meet you, and you can ask any questions you want to ask them. Okay then. Bye-bye. I'm going to end the meeting now. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye.